Hello, I'm Karjan. This is Let's Play Bastion. This episode is going to be pieced together out of doing stockpot, bedroll, and pipe with all 10 idols active.
Think the gods are gonna help?
Well, they're not. There we go.
Last thing the gods are gonna do is make our lives easier.
Okay, so got all 10 idols active. I've got the war machete, the mortar, and gel canister. So I guess I will start with the pipe and try to complete this. I have no doubt this is going to take forever. We'll see.
Kid takes another drag, goes out like a light. The past. Only good thing ever come out of the past is history.
Okay. So, I got really close to defeating this the last time. Because mortars are very, very useful.
The past catches up with a kid. Hardly had a moment's rest since all this started.
Okay.
Fair to say he's led a hard life. Supposing what he says in his sleep ain't no lie. He never knew his old man, but he had his mama to take care of. Frail thing with pure white hair like his.
Oops.
Having his mama's hair did the kid no favors while he was growing up, but he learned to hold his own out there.
It's not
School ain't working out, so the kid signs up for a turn on the rippling walls.
Fall
Make
off
his
the
mama
edge.
some money. Thanks to folks like the kid, the walls kept Ceylondia safe from whatever's out there. The elements, the Ura, you name it.
okay. Come on.
Once the kid done his time, he hurried on home. Turns out his mama's time was done too.
Okay.
Am I a dream?
The city had nothing for him. The money he'd been sending home was nowhere to be found either. So what'd the kid do? Why, he went right on back to the walls for another 5 years.
Location unknown. Hostile test subject.
In the history of Caelondia, nobody's ever volunteered for a second shift on the walls.
Okay.
Out there, kid learned to fend for himself. Learn to build. Learn to break.
Who are you? Please do not leave.
Take my corner and keep it.
In time, the kid earned good standing with the marshals. They trusted him to scout out farther than anybody.
Target acquired. Goodbye.
Ouch.
One night, on one of his expeditions, the ground beneath him shuddered, cracked, and split apart.
Whew.
He saw nothing where the world used to be. The calamity happened just like that.
Howie. Okay.
All the kid had to work with was his hammer and the clothes on his back.
Okay. Which at this point haven't been changed in a long time.
I'm afraid of heights. Hello, child.
Through twisted streets, he ran with nothing but the city crest and an old stranger's voice to guide him.
pouring them mortars on. Oh. Wow. I'm having a little difficulty staying on the... Okay, seriously. Just keep firing at it.
Will have finally arrived at Ceylandia's vaunted safe haven. He and no one else. What was I saying? Anyway.
Activated. Children's Day.
Wow. Okay. Go away.
But then, all they got was more thankless work from a man who ain't even asked his name. Sure, I may be the one who dreamt up the walls and the Bastion, but the kid made them real, not me.
So painful.
I'd like to
Heal.
say I'll never forget him, or what he's doing, what he's done. I surely would.
Okay. I did it. There we go. Took 2 tries. Completed the pipe reflection with all 10 idols active. Okay. Survive a trip to who knows where with at least 1 shrine idol active. Okay. So let's go do the stock pot.
He wolfs down too much too fast, and it all goes to his head.
And you do the stock pot.
We've all got stories worth telling. Kid ain't the only one. What's he thinking? Well, let me see if I got this straight. I only heard it once. Once there was a normal Ura girl, but she wasn't born in the Tassel terminals like the rest of her people. She was from Celandia. Her folks were orphaned in the war, taken in and raised inside the city, on condition they would never return to the terminals. Ura refugees who came into the city had to stay for life. It was a way to reduce the risk of city secrets leaking out. Her mama passed away from birthing complications, leaving the girl trapped inside that city with no one but her father. Her father was sharper than a brusher's pike, so he got a job working for the city's mancers. His daughter barely saw him. Her father told her nothing of her Ura heritage. He told her nothing of the Mancers. It's for your own good, he said. She took to studying the arts, learned more through music than history books, gained a knack for strings and songs. At first, she tried to be like other girls, but her classmates spread word that her father was an Ura trader, selling out the city. One young man stood up for her, or so he led her to believe. He knew much of her heritage, and she grew fond of him. The young man convinced her to take him to her family den to meet her father. Spoke of how he wanted to meet a man from the terminals. When the young man greeted her father in the Ura's native language, her father flew into a fit of rage and threw them out. The young man never told her that the Ura's native language is not to be used by foreigners. To do so is a terrible insult. Lost my train of thought there. It was then that she decided to escape. The two of them could flee the city together and go to the Tassel terminals. They would hide inside a garbage bin until it got ingested by a scumbag, then let him slosh on out of the city for disposal. Her plan almost succeeded, but the authorities were already there when that scumbag sidled up to the city walls. The young man had sent the authorities a tip, told him her father was using her to sell secrets to the Tassel terminals. She and her father were arrested for treason, but her father got a deal. Returned to work for the Mansers, and she'd go free.
I dig my hole, you
Before they parted ways for the last time, her father whispered a desperate plea. Hurry home to the den and lock yourself in. She did as she was told, and deep down underground inside that den, she found a journal written in her father's hand. Well, you know how it goes. The next day, the door to the den turned to ash. The girl came up for air, and she saw the calamity all around her. When the kid wakes up, his world's still in pieces, just the way he left it. We'll just have to wait and see what happens. Zolf had difficulty telling me his story. Haven't heard it. I could understand why.
Okay, as you can see, I have cut down the number of idols that are active. I was having a lot of trouble with this one. I just do not like fighting these guys. I don't like fighting them at all. So I decided to make it a little easier for myself.
They met on the worst day of Zulf's life. There in the Hanging Gardens, he aimed to throw it all away.
So, this should be a lot easier for me now that I've removed 5 of the 10 idols.
It wasn't the first time Zulf had nothing to lose. He was born to a simple Ura couple who didn't last long before plague took him.
Yep, much easier now.
He grew up hungry in the tunnels of the Tazal terminals, so he took to stealing from a Ceylandian missionary living there.
Really not accustomed to the fact that there's,
He once got sloppy with his thieving hands. The missionary caught him, but didn't rat him out. Instead, he offered to take him in.
Ow.
That missionary raised Zulf like a gentleman, like he was his own son. Taught him theology, history, and mercy.
Really not accustomed to the fact that there's, potions dropping again. Whoops. Things are definitely hurting less now,
When the
too.
missionary passed away, Zulf promised to continue his work to bring about a lasting peace between the Ura and Ceylandia. Zulf started teaching the missionaries wisdom to any Ura who would listen, and listen they did. It's all right.
Oops.
Don't worry about it. He advocated tolerance and argued that the Ura should atone for the war. He believed the city had much to teach his people.
Okay. That last one was really painful. Because I was being silly about it. Where are you? There you are.
However, Zulf felt he could only do so much in the Tazal terminals. He needed Ceylandia to know the Ura had changed.
Oops.
He decided to do what the missionary did many years before. He left the city of his youth to brave a savage land.
This is why.
The journey was hard, but he knew how to fend for himself. And then at last, Zolf saw the rippling walls on the horizon.
This is why it's a stupid idea of mine to try and do this one on.
He endeared himself to city folk straight away,
Fucking
and in
hard.
turn he fell in love with the city and its people. One in particular.
Lots of owie.
This young lady was fascinated by the Ura, but she never met anyone like Zolf. She told him she knew all the city's best kept secrets.
Poison.
The Hanging Gardens was their favorite spot. It was there that Zolf clasped her hands and proposed in proper Ceylandian style. He celebrated with his friends long into the night. Joy and revelry like he'd never seen. Too bad he couldn't remember it all. He woke up alone underground inside the Ura Ceylandian War Memorial, built like an Uraden. But something was wrong.
Huh. Close. There we go. Where's that at least? Where's... Oh, there we go. Oops. Okay, this is a really annoying place for it to be.
He emerged from that hole in the ground into a waking nightmare. Everything that wasn't gone was twisted upside down.
Ugh. Okay, these things are annoying. There we go.
The world was frozen, air thick with ash. What few faces he saw on the street stared back at him with gray and vacant eyes.
it is.
found his wife-to-be asleep inside her home. But when he reached out to her, she joined with all the ashes in the sky.
Come on. Almost there. Gotcha. Come on.
And so Zolf returned to where he proposed in the Hanging Gardens. And there he stood, as if the gods would answer him.
There. Okay. So that's one more down. And then there's the
The
books.
kid's gonna be okay. As for that man, who knows?
One left, which is the history books.
Never would have pegged the kid as the bookish type.
I wonder what enemies are going to be in here. Alright, well, I have tried this multiple times, and don't feel like beating my head against a wall. So I'm now doing this without idols active.
You don't get to be my age without learning a thing or two about what's what. But the most valuable lessons come early in life.
Because this is, quite frankly, really, really painful.
I ain't much for worldly things, though all these years I've held on to a stash of old books from when I was young.
Okay.
There's one old book in particular I still like to read from time to time. It covers the important things, in a manner of speaking.
Whoa. Note to self, just because you don't have idols active doesn't mean these monsters are any less annoying to fight. Ow.
Here we go. A is for Kobe, the goddess of oath and abandon. Make a promise, and the chastened maid will hold you to it. B is for Breaker. He's faster than a fork of lightning, and his aim is always true. If news needs spreading, tell it to a Breaker.
Okay.
C is for Core, a perfect bit of stone found deep underground. It makes the city shine day and night. Is there anything it can't do?
why does it never scatter in a pattern that
D is for
I
dread
like?
rum, a potent spirit brewed from a foul-smelling plant that grows in the wilds. One taste will sharpen your senses.
Okay. Stand off and shoot. Best strategy I have for this.
E is for evacuation. In an emergency, stay calm, leave your belongings, and make your way to the nearest safe haven.
Oops.
F is for foundation. A solid plot of land for building anything you can imagine. Even grand ideas start small.
I don't really like the fact that this time around they're all... Okay. Nope.
G is for Garmuth, the god of purpose and folly. The crippled Duke reminds us that good intentions are nothing on their own.
Go away.
H is for Hensa, goddess of pain and pleasure. You can't have one without the other. The veiled widow makes sure of it. I is for In Case of Trouble, a song grown famous across the land, dedicated to the pioneering spirit of Celandia. J is for Javel, the god of health and atrophy. We each have the Tower Keeper's strength in us, until that strength runs out. K is a kid, a guy or gal just like you. Don't be in such a hurry to grow up, since there's nothing a kid can't do. L is for Lemaine, the god of hope and despair. The Mason King knows that success and failure are all in the mind. M is for Messiah, our goddess of loss and longing. We all are born from the Lorn Mother, and in the end, we all return to her.
Okay.
N is for Nordy, the bird boy, who's always there to bring a smile at the Hanging Gardens, thanks to his feathered friends. O is for Alec, our young god of chance and whim. The carefree son lives forever in the moment. The rest of us can only try.
There. Oops. Okay.
P is for Pith, the god of commotion and order. When the wakeful bull is calm, let's all do our part to keep him that way.
What? Damn it, I thought you were dead.
Q is for Queen Anne, the notorious ankle gator from the wilds. She can even dig her way into rotten children's dreams. Arthas, the god of thirst and plenty. The gorging host reminds us to always know when we've had enough.
Okay. Just kill these off screen. This way?
S is for scumbag. A big lumpy old fellow who sidles about. He loves eating trash. Just be sure to keep a healthy distance from him.
Okay.
T is for trigger, the army's sharpest shooter. Take pride in Caelandia's mounted soldiers. They risk it all to keep us safe. U is for Ura, our pale neighbors to the east, whose homes are underground. Each day we learn to live in harmony. V is for vigil, an act in remembrance. The sacrifices of our forefathers gave us a new beginning here in Caelandia. W is for Weepin' Nelly, the Langston River's fastest little ferry barge. We couldn't have crossed that river without her help. X is for nothing. Stranger's letter in the mix. Yet even the stranger's letter has its use, as you couldn't have a mailbox without one.
There.
Y is for you, Drake, the god of impulse and bravery. Each time the morning stallion stamps his hoof, somebody out there makes up his mind.
Okay. God, how many bullets do they have in there? Okay.
Z is for Zolwood, a tough old plant whose gourds make great target practice. Whatever you do, don't eat him.
Okay. Any more of you things like to throw?
The end. There's nothing after Z. Used to be one more page in here, though, before somebody tore it out. Know what it said?
Okay.
The last page of this book was about the author. Didn't say much, but the imagination has a way of filling in the gaps.
Okay. And that's the last of the reflections. So, there's all 4 of them.
Everybody starts small, then some of us work our way up, I suppose.
There, that's all 4 of them. So, I hope you enjoyed watching me finally succeed. There are so many takes that I probably did not include in any of that. So, I will see you next video. Till then.